Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about Steam and how they are falling in line with the demands of the evil, monopolistic credit card companies and how that's actually bad. Now, there's this short video that was provided to me by one of my viewers in stream from a video content creator called Spatins. I think if I'm saying the name correctly, forgive me if I am not. And so it's a short video, 5 minutes. So we're going to give it a quick listen to and see what he's got to say. Only thing I can tell you is that as of right now, I do not like what is currently going on.
So the recent situation with Steam has gotten a little bit worse. For a recap on what the situation is, basically this huge list of games.
Whoa. Who stole my search browser history? And who posted it on Steam? That's what I want to know. Stop stealing my history.
Games got removed from Steam because Steam updated the TOS to abide by like what payment processors want, and payment processors wanted these games removed. And realistically, I don't think people were actually defending these games in particular because, I mean, look at the games. People are more so upset because
what's wrong with the games? Is he a prude? Does he not like porn? What's wrong with the games?
because payment processors should not be able to determine what goes on Steam. It's
No, they shouldn't have way too much power. And I've already made a video talking about credit card companies and the steps they've been taking in Japan to do similar things, which have already forced several companies to either stop selling certain products or go out of business completely because they held to their principles and refused to bow down to a third party. A third party that has nothing to do with your business should have any influence on what you sell. And if there is no third party alternative to these credit card companies, then they have, unfortunately, influence, and they are flexing this influence, and they should not have that ability to do so. I'm just saying, they should not impact what it is you do as a company.
it's simple. Because yeah, payment processors might be the right side of history right now, but what happens when they're not? What do you
Okay, so he's a little biased towards the sexual games because I wouldn't say they're on the right side of history at all. They're violating somebody's rights as far as I'm concerned, and there's no alternative.
do about that? But it turns out it wasn't just payment processors going after Steam, it was also a couple advocate groups, one called Collective Shout.
And you may be asking, what rights are they violating? Well, you have the right to do business. And if you are required, essentially, it's crucial. It's required at this point. If you're doing business to be able to process credit card payments, we don't use checks anymore. And most places, most people don't use, any sort of digital currency like Bitcoin or anything like that. So the only thing most people use is credit cards. And if you have a company or companies, like a group of companies like these credit card companies, Visa and MasterCard, that are forcing you to conduct your business in a certain way or go out of business because there's no other alternative to process these credit card payments, then they are, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but in my opinion, as an average American, violating your right and your freedom to do business. And in my opinion, that is a huge problem that needs to be addressed by Congress.
An Australian-based group against sexual exploitation, and then there's a US-based group called NCOSE. And I didn't know much about these two groups going into researching this. I researched this because I saw them pop up when I researched why the payment processors are going after Steam. But then I found out the Collective Shout campaign against Detroit Become Human, which is a really bad start. But most of
Why? Why is that? Why is that a bad start? Is it because that's a game that you like? Oh, got it.
Collective Shout's arguments center around children and like protecting children online, which I don't.
You know how many things throughout history have been done that ended up being bad, all because they were like, think of the children. Come on. Don't give me that excuse. Don't give me that excuse. Most of the time that's used to flex your power. It's used to influence policy in a way that benefits you. So I'm not saying him specifically. I'm just saying in general, people who push the whole policies and stuff, and they use the excuse, think of the children.
Really disagree with the premise that we should protect kids online, but Steam is not a place for children.
If we're going to go with this whole children thing, do you know how much crap's on the internet that should not be on the internet if children are going to be on the internet? I'm just saying, you need to have parents parent. That's what we need. And if parents are going to parent, then the society needs to adapt and change a little bit. Kids are getting more and more technologically, not advanced, but they're becoming much more accustomed to using technology, much more so than their parents are. So they're more versed in it, where their parents lack in that understanding. And so kids can do things and get around things and access to things that parents have no idea how to even turn on a phone sometimes. I mean, you know how long it took my parents to get a smartphone? My dad still refused to use it other than to accept a call. No text, no picture sharing, no nothing like that. Now, parents my age, yeah, we're at least tech savvy enough to be able to use phones, use the internet, but still things progress really fast. And our kids are accessing things that we didn't as kids. Because the internet didn't come around till we were teenagers. So, cell phones didn't really come around till we were teenagers. At least the ones that you could reliably carry around with you. I know in the 80s you had like the big bulky phones, but only rich people had those, right? So I think society needs to do a better job of coming up with technology that parents can use to control, better parental controls, right? To better allow or disallow or monitor what your kid is doing on the internet. Like, for example, I'll give you an example: YouTube Shorts. I can block TikTok. I can block Instagram. I can't block YouTube Shorts without blocking YouTube. So it's not that I want to take away his access to long form content. I would just love to be able to restrict his access to the short form content that YouTube has. But as far as I know, and I think maybe unless I had like a really high end security software like ArcSight, I think maybe one of the names, or some other technology that honestly your average parent is not going to have access to, I should be able to block YouTube Shorts. Now, even your average parent's not going to understand how to go out on a firewall and potentially block something. But there should be a way to limit your kids' access to YouTube Shorts. Because I'm sorry, short form content is really bad for kids and their attention span. And I mean, they're just sit there and they're going through a loop spiral of where they're going through video after video after video. Next thing you know, an hour's went by. So I think we need to let parents parent, but we need to give them the tools to properly parent and ensure that their kids have access to what they want them to have access to and to not have access to the things they don't want them to have access to.
Sorry to say, a lot of the games on the front page are rated M, and a lot of the games online are like pretty nasty in terms of like what people say in game lobbies. Steam is generally not a.
Are we prudes now? That's what I don't understand. Are we prudes? Do you not know what teenagers say to each other? Young kids say to each other? Now, luckily, my kid doesn't, but he tells me what other kids are saying and doing. I mean, come on. And if I think my kid's not, he probably is behind the scene, and he's just telling me he's not because he knows I won't approve of it. Look, kids are going to be kids. There's no getting around that.
Place for children, so I don't know why they're even bothering. And in general, the whole idea of making the internet safe for kids, I think, is one, impossible, and two, not very practical. When it comes to the internet, sure, there's kids online, but whose job is it to get kids off the internet? Oh yeah, their parents.
We discussed this already.
If you're a parent and you have a kid, you're not going to send them to the bar or a nightclub. Letting them online, kind of a similar thing. Now, obviously, I think there should be.
If you think you are going to stop your kid from getting online today, no, that's impossible. Schools give them laptops which have internet access. I'm sorry, they do that as well. So they restrict on some of the apps, but they allow them access to the internet. You have no control of that as a parent.
Places online that are actually safe for kids. I just don't think Steam is that place whatsoever. I was playing Deadlock the other day and a guy added me on Steam to call me slurs. Steam is not a place for children. And again,
oh, I'm getting vibes from this guy. I'm not going to say what vibes because this video is referred to me by somebody in Discord, but I'm getting vibes from this guy. I've never seen this guy before, never seen other videos from this guy, so I could be completely wrong, but I am so getting certain type of political Karen vibes from him. Just saying. I'm just saying. Oh my God, kid called me a slur. Which one was it? Please do tell. I want to know now. I want to know.
I don't have an issue with these specific games being banned, like this big list. I really don't care.
Of course, you don't care because you don't like these games. You won't play these games. So as long as it's not a game that you like, you don't care. You don't care. He doesn't care at all.
I don't like that payment processors are the one that made the decision. I wish it
Then you should care. Then you should care. You just said you don't. So which is it? You should care.
was Valve independently making that decision, because that's ultimately like what it should be. And I frankly
Because Valve should do what I want. I don't think these games should exist. So I'm okay with them not existing. I just don't like the way they went about it. That's what he's saying.
don't like Collective Shout that much, because I think they're a bad organization in terms of how they're approaching the situation.
Why is
Because
that?
if you're making an open letter to payment processors to stop processing payments for games like this on Steam, and then you're
Okay.
also going after Detroit Become Human, you
There it is. There it is. Oh, you went after a game I like. So you must be a bad organization. I can't support what you're doing.
immediately make this big list of games that are probably all pretty bad look way better, because you're also trying to ban Detroit Become Human. It's really dumb.
I accidentally clicked something. Let's go back a little bit farther one more time.
All pretty bad look way better, because you're also trying to ban Detroit Become Human. It's really
Well, maybe the organization, just a theory. Stay with me, guys, because we don't want credit card companies to have this power. We also don't want groups to have this power and force companies to bow down to their agenda and to what they want. But perhaps, just perhaps, stay with me. What was it again? Spatins. I hope I'm saying that right. Spatins. Stay with me, Spatins. Perhaps this collective organization is just bad. Just saying. Maybe they're just bad. I paused it at the wrong time for him. Sorry. Very unflattering picture.
dumb. It's a really dumb thing to do. When you go after legitimate pieces of art and then compare them to this, of course you're gonna.
Why is one game a legitimate piece of art and the other game is not? You do know there's legitimate pieces of art that were made hundreds of years ago that had nudity in it, right? There's probably legitimate pieces of art. I've not went out of my way. I mean, maybe people think Playboy's art, maybe. But I'm sure there's legitimate pieces of art that have portrayed people having sex. You shouldn't be calling one game a legitimate piece of art just because you like the game or want the game to play the game when it comes out. I don't even know if it's out or not. But because you don't like another group of games, you essentially are implying that they are not art. I think that's dumb. Either they both are or they're not. There could be levels to this art stuff, but I think they're both considered art. That's all I'm saying.
To make your argument look weaker, because you're comparing these things. Going after Detroit Become Human and also these games is basically saying both these games are equally as bad. And in turn, what you do is
No, that's not what they're saying. I'd have to see what their reasoning was for why they went after one set of games compared to the other. But he really likes this Detroit Become Human game.
you make these games look more legitimate because you're also going after a legitimate game. And don't get me wrong.
Just because you don't like that porn exists doesn't mean that it's not legitimate. I can understand. Hey, look, I'm fine if he doesn't like porn. I can understand that. There are valid reasons why people don't like porn. But violating people's rights isn't okay just because you may not like the content that these people are going after.
Wrong. There's things that Steam could do better, right? Like Steam, for example, could toggle not safe for work content off by default, and you have to turn it on manually.
I don't know if they do or not, but I know I've had to toggle it to see it. So I'm leaning towards that it might be toggled by default.
Because right now I think it's on by default, which I don't think should be the default. But Collective Shout, when you go after legitimate pieces of art like Detroit Become Human, and then you compare them to games like this, all you do is muddy the waters of your own argument. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And the second group,
Again, you go after a game I like, it's dumb. Go after these games I don't like, then he's okay with it. Look, this video was not meant to be attacking them. This was supposed to be talking about what the credit card companies are doing. What's going on here?
that was also involved in the campaign to get these games removed, the NCOSE. Now, this group is kind of in the same boat with the Collective Shout. They go after the weirdest sets of games and delegitimize their own points. Like, this group wanted to remove Honey Pop, which I'm pretty sure is just like lewd Candy Crush, which is they were.
Okay. There's a lot of people that would not like the lewd Candy Crush. there are. There's a lot of people who don't like lewd, etchy content.
Ridiculous thing to go after. And they also advocated for age verification laws in places like Texas, which is very, very short-sighted. If you make
No, it's not. I think it's a good idea. I have a feeling I know where he's going with this argument. Hold on, let's see.
websites verify people's identity to access adult content, all you're doing is creating a database of people's identification. It's
Okay, so look, here's my thing. I don't agree with this. I may not be the most educated person on this. This is, again, all this is just my opinion. I'm not an IT person as far as security goes. I'm a network engineer. I know basic security, but I don't like security, man. It goes really deep. But if you don't think there's databases already existing out there with your data in it, if your data is not already out there on the internet, you're naive. So I don't see that as a valid reason for not having something in place to ensure that, you know, porn and porn sites are not easily accessible to minors. Now, Pornhub obviously disagrees. That's why in Texas and Virginia, for example, they won't let you access it now because they don't want to comply with those laws. They want people to be able to access their site regardless of their age and regardless of, I mean, they've already had their own issues with like human trafficking and other, you know, questionable content on these websites. And we don't want to validate the ages of the people accessing these websites to make sure that kids aren't getting access to them. If you don't like it, then come up with a better way of doing it, because you can't just say, well, make parents parent, because I'll be honest with you, sometimes that's really hard to control what your kids have access to. It really is. Nowadays, especially with as widespread as technology is, we need to do a better job of this. It's maybe you don't like this method. Come up with a different method.
with open arms because they only think of the thing right in front of their faces. And add insult to injury, these groups were also against GTA 5 because you could run people over, which is ridiculous. Now they were all
look. I am completely okay with people having issues with both porn and GTA and all these other things if they're principled. So if you have issues with what children have access to because it's porn, then you should have issues with children having access to other content, whether it be games, whether it be books, whether it be movies, where people are being shot, where people are being killed, where people are being dismembered, where people are being run over, where people are being robbed, all that illegal activity, right? How is that not? Think of the children. How is that not bad? Right? Be principled about it. Don't just choose porn because you hate porn, but you think all this other stuff's okay. Okay? Oh, you don't have a game with titties in it, but you can play the game where you're beheading people. You're jumping 2 stories onto somebody and assassinating them. That's okay. Killing people's okay. Boobs not okay. It's just it's hypocritical. I don't like this. Be principled about it. If you want to age rate it and maybe control who has access to it based off of age so that you can ensure kids don't get access to these things, yes, that's fine. But there's a reason why the rating system, the ESRB, exists. Let that exist so that parents know what they're getting into when it comes to video games or movies or any sort of content. Don't use it to filter as far as censoring your stuff. That to me, no. Let the parents do the censoring.
Also against it for other reasons, okay? But in general, going after GTA 5 is kind of stupid. Like, I understand that.
It's not. Like I said, it's not stupid. If you're principled in it, it's not stupid. You may like GTA 1 through 5 or whatever. That's fine. Now, I didn't let my kids play it because they were young. Now, my youngest kid is old enough that I may let him play 6. But I wouldn't have let him play before because guess what? I parented. And people need to parent. I based that based off of the reviews of GTA and other games and what I see with the ratings. I look, right? That's what these ratings are for. I'm not saying the game shouldn't exist, but if you're principled and you're going out and trying to voice that these games shouldn't exist because of, you know, all these things that you do in that game that's illegal in the real world and it sets a bad example and you're like, thank you to the children, at least you're principled about it. I respect your opinion purely on the fact that you're principled. But if you don't have issues with those and you don't have issues with porn games, then I do not respect your opinion when it comes to porn games. I'm sorry. I just do not. Because you're not thinking of the children. You just don't like porn. You only want things to exist that you like, and you don't want things to exist that you don't like. And that I don't agree with.
The perspective, it's just a dumb perspective. And the worst part is, I don't even disagree with the general things these advocate groups are trying to do. I just think going about it in all of the wrong ways and making everyone hate them for no reason. It's like they woke up and said, what game does everyone like? We should go after that one. It's a lot like how PETA stands for an overall good message. And
don't make me defend PETA, dude. Don't make me defend PETA. I do not like PETA. Do not make me defend PETA. And here's why. Okay. I just went to Alaska. In Alaska, there's this thing that I think it was in Anchorage that they do. It's called moose droppings, right? And what they do is they go around and they gather moose poop. They make sure it's hardened, obviously. They paint it. They write numbers on it. And then on the ground in this one field, they draw this big bullseye. And then they fly overhead with various planes and stuff. And each plane will drop their moose dropping and try to hit the bullseye. And obviously with the numbers and stuff they painted on it, you'll know who's got closest. And it's a competition, right? Well, PETA got wind that something called moose dropping was going on. And without any sort of investigation or looking into what this actually was, they just, for whatever reason, assumed that that they were actually dropping mooses out of these airplanes. So they went to the legislature in Alaska and somehow, some way, got a law passed that said it's illegal to drop a moose from an airplane. How they got that passed without somebody in the legislature asking, are we sure that they're doing this? Does that not seem a little absurd to you? Are you certain they're really dropping mooses out of airplanes? But according to what these people told me in Alaska, they got it passed. So don't make me defend PETA, because PETA is not what it should be. It's a farce. It's a parody at this point.
They ruin it with their own behavior. And what's even more weird is that Vice made an article about all of these organizations, right? And then it got removed. Why did it?
Yeah, which says what? I mean, from what I've seen online, it seemed to have been a good article from a journalistic standpoint. So I don't know why it got removed.
Get removed? The article was good. It talked about all these organizations and what they supported in the past and why they're doing it now. If you run an organization like Collective Shout, you can't be going after stuff like GTA 5 because it makes no sense. No one's going to agree with you. And when you
So what you're saying is don't go after games that you may find offensive if people won't agree with you. Only go after games that you find offensive that people will agree with you on. If you find something offensive, stand on your principles. Find it offensive. Let people know. I'll respect that at least, especially if you go after something that people don't agree with. It's politics, man. I hate this politics shit. Go after the things that I don't enjoy. Then I'll support you.
go after games like GTA 5 or Detroit Become Human, whenever actual bad games exist and you go after them too, you make them seem less bad because you already went after GTA 5. It's like every one of these organizations has never played a game in their life and has only seen funny moments videos.
So it seems like the video is not about what the credit card companies are doing and how that's bad. He spent most of his time complaining that the groups behind this, or it seems to be the groups that are seemingly behind this movement, are going after games not that he dislikes, but games that he likes. So he's complaining about that. That seems to be what this video is about. Like, oh man, I support you going after these games that I don't like, but you went after this game that I do like, and now that you went after this game that I do like, it makes these other games over here legitimate issues of what you're doing, and it just looks bad, and I won't support you, but I can't support you because you went after this game I like.
On YouTube where people are getting run over. That's what it seems like. Collective Shout and the NCOSC are kind of like the boy who cried wolf.
Well, running people over is a bad thing. If we're thinking of the children here, then yeah, it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, if that's the reason we're going after one game, gotta be principled on it and go after these other games for doing things that, from a morally viewpoint in society, is bad.
Okay, they cry and cry about legitimate games, and then when something actually bad pops up, no one believes them because they just.
I love how it's all one side's legitimate, the side I agree with, the side I don't agree with is not legitimate.
Bitch about everything. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Blue Sky down below. Check out my Discord and server as well. Click here to touch more content and have a good.
Holy shit, he talks really fast. This is not sped up. See, normal play speed, normal, right there. Holy shit, how much time does he spend recording these videos? Amount of times I have to stop and kind of re-record stuff. Holy shit. But listen, I'm going to outright say, I think I said at the beginning of the video, I don't support what the credit card companies are doing. I've already made a video about this as far as what they're doing to Japan and how they've actually forced people to either change the products that they're providing to the customer base or go outright or outright go out of business, right? And I don't support that at all. They've got way too much power. I thought this video would be more about that, but it seemed to be more so complaining that these companies that went after the porn games that he quote unquote calls illegitimate games also went after games that he likes, which are legitimate games. That seems to be more so what this video is about. So anyway, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you support what Visa is doing or what these credit card companies are doing? Because PayPal is also just as bad as they are. Patreon's kind of went that way a little bit as well. I don't think there's a third party out there for these people. So if your credit card company is going to be pressuring you to do this, you either do it or you go out of business. Because I mean, how's Steam going to sell you a game if they can't process your payment? Mail a check to them? That's not going to work. So I mean, way too much power. Now, Elon did say on X that he was going to open up. Maybe they need to get like X payments started, and I'm like, yes, you should. He was involved in PayPal early on. He was one of the founders, if I'm not mistaken. So he definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to that, and I do think he should do that. Now is the perfect time to get involved with that. There is a need there. The market has a need for another payment processor that's just going to process your freaking payments and not morally dictate what you should be able to buy or not buy. And that's the problem I have with this. I should be able to go to a store and buy what the fuck I want without worrying about what company they're using to process their credit card payments. That's ridiculous. And our legislature here in the US, Congress, they need to look into this and do something because there's way too much power here. I don't expect anything to happen, but I hope it does. Anyway, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Leave a like on this video if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content from me. I do go live quite often on my channel. And, you know, every once in a while, I'll drop some videos. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And I will talk to you guys next time.